So now we have to discuss about final keyword. Final keyword. It's a very simple one. Okay, but this final keyword can be applicable to the different places. So that means what final keyword will be get applicable to the variable. Final keyword can be applicable to the, we can say, method. Okay, then final keyword will be get applicable to the class. So according to that, we can have the final variable. We can have the final variable. It is also called as a constant. We call it as the constant. Okay. Then according to this, okay, we have the second one. We call it as the final method. We have the final method. Then after that we have the final
class.
final class. Final. Okay, so final class will be there. So final keyword is get applicable to the variable. Final keyword is applicable to the method, and final keyword is applicable to the class. And according to that, we can say that final variable, final method, and a final class. So if we use final keyword with variable, we call it as the final variable. If we apply that one to the method, then we call it as the final method. And if we apply that to the class, then it is called as a final class. So this is what we can say. So we will explain it one by one. So if you go for the final variable, okay, we can say if we declare 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 variable as a final, variable as a final, if we declare variable as a final, then then it becomes constant. It becomes a constant. That is value of that variable, value of that variable can't change. Can't change. Value of that variable can't change. If someone tries to to change to change value, someone tries to change value, compiler gives error. Compiler gives error. Compiler gives error. So that is what very basic thing about this one. That means that if assume like I do have some variables and which value should not be changed. So for example, we have one constant we always use in the mathematics like pi variable is there. So I can declare it like this one: final double pi. Okay, I given the name is equals to we can give the value like a 3.14 like this one. Okay, no doubt that some digits are there after the 4, but I don't want to use that. So final double pi 3.14. So pi's value will be never change. Pi value will be never change. So it is what we call it as the constant. But remember final variable always put in the capital. Okay, so I can say here final variable should be declared always as a or in a capital letter, always in a capital letter. All the letters should be capital. All the letters should be capital over. So here I have declared it as a final variable pi. Okay. But while using this one, we have to follow two conditions. We have to follow two conditions. Okay. So condition one is what? Condition one is what? It must be initialized. It must be initialized. It must be initialized while declaring. While declaring. It must be initialized while declaring. That means what? Like this one, see, I have declared pi, but while declaring, I have given the value. I have given the value. But if we have not done this one, then compiler gives the error. So it must be initialized while declaring. Otherwise, compiler gives error. Compiler gives error. For example, if you guys tried like this one, final, okay, integer, final integer, some value I can say, okay, value, okay, like this one, and then I am trying to do like this one, value is equals to 10. It will be not allowed. It will be not allowed. If we try to give like this one, here itself it gives the error. Here itself it will give error. That's saying that if you want to declare any variable as a final, it must have given the value at the time of declaration only. So it is not allowed. And the second thing is what? Second thing about this one is that for it value should not be changed. Value should not be changed. So later if you try to do this one, like see here I can consider here correct one statement will be, I can just write this here. This is the what correct statement I can say, control V, okay, and there I can just write this. Okay, so 10, and this is the correct, this is what the we can say correct declaration of final value. Okay, now but what, as we have declared, if someone tries to change the value, that means what, I just have put in the value plus plus, value plus plus, trying to increase the value by 1, okay, or we have just given value is equals to 20, even this will be not work. So all these statement it will gives the error. So that is what about we can simply say about the final variable. So final variable will be creating the variable as a constant, so that its value remains unchanged. Its value remains unchanged throughout the program. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will just go through this. Here new class, I will put a package name as a com dot icons dot keyword key keywords like this one, okay, and here my final keyword, final keyword like this one I have given the name, and in that one I put this one. Okay, now I'm just trying to write like this. Simply this is my class. In that class, if I have created the variable like this one, see, pi, control C, I will go here, control V, okay, like final double pi, okay, and now we can display that sys out, okay, and I just displayed the pi value, okay. So it is what very simply I have used over here. Okay, we can display 3.14, the value of that pi is been displayed. But after that, if we tried to change the value, pi simply plus plus, okay, and see it is giving the error there. It said that final local variable pi cannot be assigned. Okay, it must be blank and not using compound assignment. Okay, or if we write like this one, pi is equals to 20, okay, or 22 like this one. So see again it is giving the error that the final variable pi cannot be assigned. It must be blank and not using like this. Okay. So this is what we can say very simply about this. And another thing is that it must be initialized. That means what here, as if I remove this, see here itself it is giving the error that why the local variable pi may not have been initialized. The local variable pi may not have been initialized. So initial value should be there. Without initial value, it should not be declared here. Okay. So that is what about we can say the pi variable. So it is what I declared it as a local variable. It is I declared as a local variable. We can declare it as a class variable too. Okay. Control X. I can put here Control V. I can display here. Okay. So final double pi 3.40. Okay, now pi will be not used directly. I have to create the object of my final keyword and then I can use that one. So not only the local variable can be declared as a, not only the local variable can be declared as a final. Your instance variable, can be declared as a final. So if you declare it as a final, no doubt here in every method we can use that one. But for that I have to use a object of that particular class. I have to use a object of that particular class simply. So this is very basic about we can say final variable. No doubt if there is other method, public void display. Okay, in public void display, you can use this statement. So Control V, I can write simply. There is no problem because this is the normal method. Okay, in this method we don't need to use object, but here actually this is the static method. Static method is not object specific, it is the class. So here we can't use like that one. Here we can't use like that one. So this display method we can write like this. So this is what about we can say the final variable. Okay, final variable can be here too as an argument to the method. Final int. Okay, and I can write here value. I can write a value. So final int value like this one. Okay, here I just create object. Control V, obj is equals to new, Control V, okay, and bracket like this one. I have that. Okay, now if you want to display over here, we can use obj dot pi. So there is no problem. You guys can see here. I don't need to put that one pi. Okay, but if I have to call the display method obj dot, and I can write this display method. Assume like I have written a 40. I passed here a 40. I have passed here a 40. So obj dot display, if I return, it will comes here. But that 40 will be get assigned to value. And value I have declared it as a constant. So if I try to display value, there is no problem. Value will be get displayed. You can see the output here. See 3.14. Here it is been displayed. Then for again here 3.14 and 40 is been displayed. So in this way, final variable we can do. Okay. But here see final instance variable Final instance variable. I have created earlier final. See, like I can write a final integer. Okay, and I just write a vi. Okay, I will write a vi is equals to 90. Okay, so this is what the local variable. Local variable also, variable can be final. Instance variable can be final. And here actually I have put a parameter or two method, parameter two method can be final, so here I have, but if you tries to change the value here, value, and I just put it a plus plus, and you can see it is giving the error, so we can't change the value of a final variable, whether it is a local variable, whether it is the instance variable, or it is the parameter, or we can say argument to the method, we can say. So this is the very we can say the basic concept of a final keyword. Hope it is clear to all.
Yes.
Okay, now I just have to discuss about the final method. Okay, it is always method, parent class method, we can say parent class method can be declared as final. Parent class method is always declared as a final. If we declare method as a final, then that method is not available. For inheritance, or I can say, or overriding. Okay, so that is, I can say, that is final method cannot be overridden. For example, see, I have created one class. Okay, assume like a parent. I have created one class as a parent. Okay, in that class, I have declared public void display, like this one. Okay, and exactly same way, I have written public void, I can say show, like this one. Okay, as I did like this one. Okay, and exactly same way I am trying to create another one class child, which extends parent. So here I am making the parent child relationship between the classes. Now if I did like this one, and these methods I want to put exactly in the child class, okay, I don't have any problem. This is what the concept of overriding. But if I declare method as a final, over here, then that method you can't write like this one. So here itself on this line, it gives the error. On this line, it will give the error saying that display is a final in a parent class. And if a method is a final in the parent class, you cannot override that one into the child class. You cannot override it in the child class. So if we tries to write like this one, it will give the error. So what final method is doing? Final method is putting restriction on your method. It putting the restrictions on your method so that it will be not available for the inheritance. It will be not inherited by the other class. Okay, so I just can go here in the Eclipse, Okay, and in that one, in the inheritance, okay, I think we have already the parent class here. You can see. Okay, in parent class we have the display and the show. Okay, we have the child class. Okay, and in child class I have written the display. Okay, exactly same way I can write a public void show. I can write public void show, and you can see there is no problem. There is no problem here too. Okay, here. But if I declare this method as a final, if I declare this method as a final, okay, and save, you can see here it is showing the error. Final method is not available for inheritance. Cannot override the final method from the parent. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we have the final class. Okay, it put the restriction to get inherited the class that we can see in the next session.